guys, welcome back to another Victoria Events with Caleb Shaw. As always, we sincerely appreciate your support. We sincerely appreciate you watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below. That really helps in the algorithms. Hit the notification bell. If there's a way to follow us, do it. It helps us out. As you can see, we have some very, very special guests today. I'm going most important. Of course, it's going to be Scott and not Kane here. But Scott, thank you so much for coming in.
No problem.
Scott is with Victoria Animal Control, and we really wanted to get him in right now because, one, the weather sucks. It's super cold outside. But then also, you know, animal control is one of those places a lot of times that gets skipped over, that gets forgotten about. But needs your help and needs your support. And we've got fresh faces in there. We've got people that are really excited to want to make a difference in the community again. And so we want to back them and we want to support them. So today we wanted to have Scott in and kind of talk about some of the things going on in animal control and what we can do to support them and back them as a community. And then we'll get into a little bit of discussion and stuff after the break about how you can adopt and you know, the steps to make sure that you set your rescue dog up for success when he gets home and you know, a happy transfer from the animal control into your home. And so on that note, again, thank you for coming in so much. We appreciate it. You brought my buddy Kane in, who man, I love this dog. He's so cool, and we'll get into Kane's story a little bit and talk about him but first and foremost, animal control. You know, it's one of those places, you know, everybody likes to throw rocks at you guys. Everybody likes to talk about, you know, the obvious, the euthanasia, the all that kind of stuff. And I was guilty of that myself back in the day where I read a headline or it was something and it hurt my heart because I'm a dog guy. And so, you know, I decided to go out there and toss my hat in the ring and see what I could do to help. And a lot of what you guys deal with is it's not really the dogs. I mean, obviously you're animal control, but what I mean by that is you could handle the dogs by themselves. Right. But what we've kind of got here is a people problem, you know, and in the sense that, you know, for one reason or another, Victoria, we have a lot of strays. We have a lot of owner surrenders. We have a lot of animals that aren't spayed and neutered, and because of that, we have a lot of unwanted dogs and a lot of stray dogs and stuff. And so I kind of wanted to hear, you know, from your perspective at animal control, how can we work together, you know, and sure. You know, and I was telling my producer on this, you know, I could sense your passion when I talked to you about that, and that excited me, and I'm genuinely excited for what the future holds of what we can do as a partnership with the community and you guys. But I'm getting ahead of myself, and while I sit here and pet on Kane, tell me a little bit about animal control and your mission and what you guys are hoping to do in the future and stuff.
Sure. So at Animal Control, really we came around the sole reason for animal control and its founding was rabies control. So when an animal bites, we always have to do an investigation. The animal has to be quarantined just for observation to make sure that it doesn't have rabies. So that's our main goal, and the biggest thing you can do is go to the vet and get your dog a rabies shot. 10, 15 bucks depending on the vet, you got your dog a rabies shot. They're vaccinated against that. And if we're in a very rural area, so we have a lot of wildlife. We have raccoons and foxes, bats, skunks, and coyotes. Those are the 5 top rabies risk animals, and they're high risk. So the best thing you can do for your dog is to get him a rabies shot. Okay. That way he's protected against it. You mentioned, you know, that we do have a stray problem. And that's something that we're working on. You know, the ideology behind animal control, back when they used to call us the dog catchers and stuff, was euthanize your way out of the situation. That isn't going to work. That's the wrong mentality, wrong way to go about it. So now animal control has progressed a long way since then. We're not the dog catcher of the past. We have to go to classes. We have to get certified. We have to keep our certification. So there's a lot of training that goes into it, and now we're referred to as animal control officers. And so the biggest way, the biggest help is to get your animal fixed. So studies show that 90% of the time when a male dog is out, he's looking to breed. That's one of the reasons he got out. He smells a female in heat. And it's not just the males. The females, when they're in estrus, will get out to go seek that.
They put out that vibe.
They put out that vibe. They want to find it. So they'll get out as well. So the biggest thing you can do is just get your animal fixed. That keeps from the strays wandering. And that keeps from sometimes they got the testosterone built up, so they're a little more, hey, I gotta show my dominance. So once you get them fixed, that'll help with that, and there's also many benefits to getting them fixed. When you get, so studies show that on male dogs and female dogs, both of them come down with either the male dog has testicular cancer, 90%. Of them getting testicular cancer in old age, and the females get ovarian cancer.
Wow.
So if you get them fixed, they don't have that problem anymore. There's no chance of them getting it because they remove that part and they don't have that, and it actually adds on average 3 years to a dog's life. So you got your best friend for another 3 years because their lifespans are short compared to ours, but we want them around as long as we can have
Absolutely. No, and that makes sense. Now, for somebody that may not be able to afford, are there programs, vouchers, if that's the only thing that's keeping somebody from being able to get their dog taken care of, are there resources available right now, or is that something that us as a community can help with to make more available?
Sure. So right now we have a voucher program. Every couple years we apply for a grant from the state. They gave us a bunch of money and they said, go get these animals. Well, we get to use it how we want, but we're using it to get the animals fixed so we can get that stray population down. It helps with, we won't have the unwanted litters running around and stuff like that. But the way you qualify with us for the voucher program is you have to be on some sort of government assistance, which Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, food stamps, something like that. So you bring in your letter of proof that shows that you get some sort of assistance. It doesn't matter if you're on food stamps and you get $1. It still qualifies you for our program. And then you bring in your ID that shows that you're a resident of Victoria County, and we'll get you set up free of charge for a spay or neuter for your animal. Cat, dog, doesn't matter. The only thing that you would have to pay for is if your animal doesn't have a current rabies, $15.
That's it.
So you take your animal in, we'll set up the date, we'll set up the vet, we'll do it all for you. You don't even have to bring the animal to the shelter. We just need to know a roundabout weight of the animal, and we'll set it all up for you. We'll give you a paper that tells you when to take it in, what the pre-op instructions are, when you can pick it up, everything like that. And if all you got to pay is the $15 at the vet if it's not current on rabies.
Awesome.
That's it.
Now, is that a program? Does the public do a good job of taking advantage of that, or is it one of those ones that maybe people don't know about? So we have those funds sitting there that aren't being used, and we need to do better with.
Sure. So we have pretty good success with it.
Okay.
I don't think enough people know about it.
Yes, sir.
Because, I mean, our goal is let's get everything fixed, and that'll help keep them inside and keep them from wandering.
All right, guys, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and have a quick word from our sponsor, and we will be right back, and we'll talk more about the specifics of how to adopt and what goes into an adoption, the cost, and all of that. So, quick word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
I've been closing real estate transactions in Victoria since 2007. I couldn't do it without my staff. They're also friendly, they're accommodating, they're helpful. When someone calls, we get an answer to them within an hour.
I think what's the most rewarding is seeing people when they get here and they're excited and they take pictures after their closing, and I think that's really rewarding.
If you're looking to refinance, build a new home, buy or sell a home, call Kelly Garrett Kachera, and we'll take care of getting your title ordered and your deal closed.
All right, gang, we are back. I wanted to talk a little bit, Scott, about adoption and how does that work? People, how does it work? If I want to adopt a dog from animal control, what's the cost? What's the process? How does that work?
Sure. So if you want to adopt, come on down to the shelter. Take a look at what we got. You may be looking for something specific. You never know what comes in. I mean, look at this big old guy. I mean, he's beautiful. There might be something that you didn't think would strike your eye that you just fall in love with. So We try to post all of our animals on our Facebook page, so you can go on our Facebook and check out what comes in. We try to get it on there as soon as possible. That way people know, even if you don't want to adopt a dog, but maybe you know whose dog it is. So as soon as it comes in, we try to get it on there so you can say to your neighbor, hey, I think your dog got impounded in animal control. You might want to go check it out, just so we can get them home. But for the ones that don't get to go back home, we try to adopt them out. So you come on down, take a look, you find the one you want, and so then you just fill out the paperwork and you adopt them. Now the animal has to stay there until they get fixed, because by state law they have to be fixed before they go home. But your adoption includes that. The price includes the surgery for that. So you get the spay or neuter, a rabies vaccination, they get heartworm tested, you get the animal dewormed, and they get microchipped. We also offer, for an additional $15, we offer a Parvo test. So say there's a puppy there and you think, well, maybe it has Parvo, or I want to make sure it doesn't have Parvo. We have a Parvo test we can do in-house, takes 10 minutes, and we can tell you, as of this moment, the dog does not have Parvo. So, you know, something good that we can do in-house just to give a little peace of mind. Now, the adoption is anywhere from, for dogs, it's anywhere from $125. This guy was almost $200, but that's because he's a big guy. But we do get a discount from the vet because they're working with us, so we want to get them, you know, to you at a reasonable price that we can. But it's anywhere from $125 up, depending on the size and if it's a male or a female. The female spay is a little more invasive than a male spay, so they got to do a little more.
Gotcha. And I know one of the things with shelter dogs that excited owners often don't think about is sometimes for these dogs, it's kind of like doing time to a degree, because a lot of times they've been taken out of the home that they know, that they've spent their life in, where they're comfortable, and then they're in a pound where people are barking and our dogs are, hopefully people aren't barking, but dogs are loud and all that. And a lot of times there's a shock factor that comes with that, a PTSD, if you will, that when they get home, you know, that it's going to take some adjustment. And if you've got a loud house with loud kids and all, you know, don't hold it against the dog that if in 5 minutes he's not your lifelong best friend and running, you know, that's one of the biggest things that I've seen from people that adopt dogs and take them back very quickly as well. He got nervous and peed on the floor, or he didn't come and let us love on him right away, or he didn't, you know, and like anything else, sometimes you get this and they crave your attention, but other times they've got to warm up to you. And you know, can you just kind of give some quick advice on, you know, setting the dog up when you do get a shelter dog, setting up for victory when you get home and for a happy transition and all of that?
So just remember, when you come into the shelter, it's a high stress environment for the dog. The way the dog acts at the shelter, it's not going to act that way at your house. It's stressed out. It doesn't know what's going on. There's dogs across the aisle barking at it. You know, it's not at home. It doesn't know what's going on. So when you take them home, they're going to need a little bit to decompress. Sometimes it takes a couple weeks. So we always recommend you kind of try to crate train the dog. So when you take them home, get them a nice bed, put them in a crate, you know, give them a toy or something to do, because sometimes they're an active dog, they want something to do, and if they're stuck in a crate, or even just if you let them roam your house and you're gone at work, they might choose something up. So give them something to do. Get them like a Kong toy. You put some peanut butter in it, and if they go through that too fast, freeze it. Put it in the freezer. Freeze that peanut butter, because then he's going to be working harder to get that treat. So, you know, it's just, they need some enrichment. They need something to do if you're not home. It's going to take them a while to decompress, to get to know you. But, you know, you just got to have patience and time.
Gotcha. Well, that makes total sense. And Scott, we appreciate you. Guys, as you can see, you know, the pound's got dogs just full of that need homes. And Kane here, he's already been adopted. We were very fortunate. Shaw Realty sponsored him. We had a line of people show up for him. The ones that didn't get Kane, there's other dogs there. If people want to adopt, what's the quickest way to reach you guys? How do they start the process, or how can they get in touch with you?
Sure. So if there's something specific you're looking for, you can always call the shelter, 361 578-3564. We can let you know if we got something like that, a mix of it, or just come on down. Monday through Friday, we're open to the public 10 to 5. Now, we stopped doing adoptions an hour before we close because of the time it takes to do the paperwork. We want to get that right and accurate for you. That way you have an accurate medical and adoption. That way, if you take your dog to your vet, you can tell them, look, this is what's been done. Okay, so 8 to 5 or 10 to 5. Monday through Thursday, and we're open 10 to 3 on Friday. We are closed on the weekends, but we want to see y'all come down. We want to get some adoptions out. You know, we want to help these animals. We want them to go home.
Perfect. Well, brother, I appreciate it. We will see you more on here. Thank you for what you're doing. And guys, don't let an adoption fee stand between you and having your perfect fur baby and saving one of these dogs. If it's just that, talk to Scott, let him know that you saw this video, you saw that you don't want that to be the only thing, and Shaw Realty will get you back on it. If you will get these guys back, we'll be there for you. We're gonna come back here in just a second. We're gonna have a Stop the Bleed course that the Victoria County Public Health Department is gonna come on and talk about, a course they've got coming up. So quick word from our sponsor, and we'll be right back with Victoria County Public Health Department. See you in a second.
Since 1932, Wallach & Volk has been closing mortgages and doing it the right way. The reason why the Volks opened up a bank at the height of the Great Depression was because the bank needed to be opened at the height of the Great Depression. And it was good for the community at that time. A lot of the banks were going under. In order to keep that community sound and stable, it was something that they did. I think that says something about who Wallach & Volk was 85 years ago. And the only way you get to continue to do it is if you consistently do it great. And we plan on doing this for another 85 years.
All right, guys, welcome back. Today we are with the Victoria County Public Health Department, Ralph Montes. He's been kind enough they've got a great Stop the Bleed course that I thought was very important that we get out to the public. Most of us, myself included, you know, my first aid buddy care came a long time ago in the Air Force, and since then, everything's changed, you know, and I've got first aid kits on my battle belt, I've got them in my truck, I've got all these things, and truth be told, I'm probably not the best guy in the world at using them and don't understand most of this stuff, and first aid, first response stuff, things like that I think are just critical and hugely important. And so Ralph, thank you so much for joining us today, and tell us about this Stop the Bleed course that you guys are doing.
Sure, thank you, and thank you for having me. Yes, sir, we've collaborated with both, of course, the Victoria County Public Health Department and the Office of Emergency Management to be able to provide this course to the general public. We have it set up into two different segments. One is, of course, to the general layperson, and the other one is toward Texas schools. So in that node, it is to offer that technique of traumatic type injuries that we are now seeing, not only just within the school systems, but also in general everyday life. It could be work related, home related, recreational. To where you see these traumatic injuries where there's different types of injuries that are causing severe bleeding at a rapid rate. With some of the statistics that are out there, I mean, the average time to bleed out is 3 to 5 minutes. And you look at the average time for first responders to arrive, which you're looking at about 7 to 10 minutes.
Right.
So there's a big time difference between there. And then, you know, if you're looking at an individual that may be per se out in the county, or maybe at a deer lease, and they end up with some kind of traumatic injury that can cause severe bleeding. And we can have either that individual trained to be able to apply a tourniquet or apply some type of other type of device that can help slow down and stop the bleeding in general, then that of course will increase their survival rate to be able to get them into a trauma center or to an emergency room to then provide the care that's needed.
Now, what if I know nothing about first aid? If I know, you know, I wouldn't know if you had a splinter in your finger or your right hand was gone. If that's how bad I suck at medical stuff. Would I still be welcome in that course? Would I learn something from it?
Yes, sir, definitely. Everyone is welcome. Doesn't matter what level of training you have. We've trained individuals both that have been in the medical field, nurses, physicians, emergency medical technicians. We've also trained law enforcement officers. That's what one of our initial courses were that we started when we did the program with the health department. We wanted to get, of course, law enforcement and those that are in the medical field are automatically in that category to then where they can become instructors, and then they can go back to their agencies or their healthcare providers, and then also go in and teach their individual co-workers in that nature. You don't have to have any knowledge in first aid to begin off with. Of course, it's nice if you do, because you at least get a better understanding of what the basics are. But in this case, we can train any layperson with no knowledge in any type of healthcare setting or basic first aid, and doing these techniques and that with the PowerPoint presentation we have, and then also the hands-on skills portion that we have to provide also too. So yes, sir, you do not have to have a full general knowledge.
What would I need to bring with me? Do I need to bring a first aid kit, or or just show up, or what do I bring
No, sir.
with me?
You just show up. When you register with the health department, we will get you the time and dates of the classes that are available. All we need is about an hour and a half of your time.
Okay.
We will provide all the necessities of the tourniquets to utilize with the mannequin stump that we utilize that have 3 different types of penetrating type injuries or knife wounds per se. We have some that mimic a gunshot wound, which you'll see will be a entry wound and like an exit wound.
Yes, sir.
And how to do the proper techniques of stopping the bleed in that aspect. You'll have some that may have like a deep slash wound in that nature, to where you can see to the point where you can see traumatic injury in that nature, not necessarily just from a knife, but it could be from maybe a piece of flying sheet metal during a high windstorm, or maybe an object that flew from a mechanical type device at your work related place. So it's geared to a lot of different types of I guess you could say environments in that nature.
Yes, sir. No, that makes sense. And I noticed you did have a first aid kit here, and like I alluded to earlier, I carry one in my truck. I have one on my battle belt, stuff like that. If we had one of those, is this course gonna familiarize myself with? I mean, I know every kit is different, so you can't speak to every single first aid kit on the planet. I get that, but overall, kind of a base foundation of, I should be able to open most first aid kits and at least recognize some of the items in there and be able to apply them to the situation.
Yes, sir. I mean, we can also sit down with you and get a general knowledge of what do you like to do per se. Like with me, I'm an avid camper fisherman. So I have different types of items that are geared to that type nature.
Yes, sir.
In that aspect. Of course, I'm also a certified EMT with the Texas Department of State Health Services. And so in that aspect of working not only just in the emergency room setting, but also working on an EMS unit, there's different types of techniques and different types of things you're taught during your course. And of course, when you get out there and you see these traumatic injuries from car wrecks, gunshots, knife wounds, in that aspect. So we can teach you or show you how to build your kit based on your individual, I guess, necessity.
Perfect.
If you're a farmer, rancher,
sir.
That may change a little difference of what you may need to carry versus maybe something you may just need in your general household.
Or on, say, your range belt that you're going to,
Exactly.
a typical rain injury may a shot or a bullet,
Yes, sir, because I can tell you with me, I mean, I carry a basic first aid kit in my vehicle.
Yes, sir.
I also carry my trauma kit, which has my tourniquets and some other stuff also in it too. Like you said, like I mentioned, I'm an avid camper fisherman. I have a travel trailer. In my travel trailer, I actually have a bigger trauma kit that I carry in there with some other items too, because I have seen some injuries that have occurred at the fishing pier, the bulkheads, people sliding down concrete barriers or things like that because they want to get closer to the water.
Right.
And they have a big gashing wound that they develop. So, and we are trying to focus the general layperson to be the first responder on the scene. Because as you see with the time differences that I mentioned, there's going to be some time frame.
Window.
That's going to be your only window, or the only option you're going to have is hopefully somebody who's knowledgeable to provide either that basic first aid, or if it gets to that point, how to do some type of tourniquet device, or how to do packing of the wound. Because we'll get into that nature too with the course of how to pack a wound if it's deep enough to where you can have a gauze to pack into the wound. If you do not have that type of medical equipment ready available, You can use a t-shirt. You can take your shirt off in that instance. I can take my shirt off and I can pack the wound in that nature.
Makes sense.
I've demonstrated classes where I've taken a tie off and we used a tie. I've taken my shoe off and used my sock.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, there's things out there that you can use. If you're in a kitchen setting, same scenario there. Utilizing a kitchen towel of some sort. And I know people are thinking the infection kind of thing, but unfortunately at this point in time, you're
Better to
focusing,
focus on that.
you're
Stop
focusing
the
on
bleed.
stopping the bleed, and they'll deal with infection later on in an emergency room type setting or in a hospital setting.
Yes, sir. No, that makes total sense. So I've got your next class here is scheduled for Friday, February 19th at 1 p.m. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That is correct. That is
And-
still scheduled.
Good. And if for some reason they can't make this, we were talking earlier, you can also say you've got a big group together or something.
Yes.
We could call in and set something up where you could come to an office and train,
Yes,
or
sir.
bring your staff up there and train,
Yes, sir.
and maybe do your office or group or something like that.
Or you know, if any of our classrooms are available, you know, at whatever date you may want to look into, we can definitely then set aside a different date.
Okay.
I mean, these are just something that, you know, classes that we're trying to, you know, get the feedback from the public and see how we need. You know,
Perfect.
we started at this point doing certain days through the weekday, and we started seeing some feedback about, how about weekend classes? So we're
You're listening.
We're looking into that, exactly.
Yes, sir.
We're listening. We're listening to the public and trying to get the general idea, okay, where do we need the most of these classes to be offered? Like I
Makes
said,
sense.
we're willing to come out to your location to provide this. You know, we're pretty much mobile, so that can be done.
That's awesome. How can we get in touch with you?
You can either get in touch through me, through my office with the Victoria Office of Emergency Management, or to the Victoria County Public Health Department.
Okay. You know those numbers off the top of your head?
I do not.
That's all right.
I know
We'll
my
put-
number.
Yeah, that's a.
But,
yeah, no,
I mean, you
Victoria
can-
County Health Department, make that call and get you right in there.
And of course, you can go to our websites, and they'll generally have some information on there. But Ashley Cano, who's one of our licensed vocational nurses with the health department, and who's also our community health advocate,
Okay.
her and I have collaborated both our departments together, and we put together, of course, to bring the class to the public health department to reach out to the general public. These classes are free. We don't offer any fee of any sort or ask for any fee of any sort. We just want to get that knowledge out there to the public because of the situations that can occur.
Yes, sir.
And just to give you a little bit of history on how all this started. 2012, when the Sandy Hook mass shootings occurred, the Hartford Consensus saw a need for something to happen, that we needed to get more out there to the general public. And unfortunately, that's sometimes that's what it takes.
Yes, sir.
For something to happen that traumatic or something in that nature. So they got together with 4 different agencies of, federal agencies and those with the military. And if I can name those off, I mean, 'cause we really would like to recognize these
Absolutely,
agencies
yeah.
that have really come together.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Of course, one of them is the American College of Surgeons Committee on Trauma. The other is the American College of Emergency Physicians, the National Association of Emergency Medical Technicians, and the Committee on Tactical Combat Casualty Care. Without these organizations, this course would not have existed. So now that we're pushed out to, to different health departments, different medical organizations, fire departments, EMS, they're really doing a big push on getting this out. Right now, to date, there's over 1 million trained individuals out there in the United States. I started this little over about 3 years ago, becoming an instructor. So that shows you where we've come from that time frame to now.
Absolutely.
This has been going on probably a good 4 to 5 years now, if I'm not mistaken.
No, that's awesome, and yeah,
So
thanks to those great organizations, and thank you for your time as well,
Very much welcome.
to David and the rest of the crew over there at the Victoria County Health Department. We do appreciate you guys. I know y'all have been very, very, very busy with everything going on, and so
Unfortunately.
we're very grateful. And please know, if you have any events in the future, you're welcome to come on. We want to spread the word, guys. It's very important that you know how to do these skills. It could be your life you saved. It could be a loved one. It could be just a stranger that you roll up on after a car wreck that needs you. And so make sure you get into these free Stop the Bleed courses. They are great. We will be right back with my friend Andrea from Highway 87 Trade Days. We're going to get you filled in real quick, and then we'll send you into the rest of your week. Be right back. right, gang, we are back with my friend Andrea. We got Highway 87 trade days to talk about.
That's right.
Fill me in.
Fill you in.
Fill me
All
in.
right.
Give me the nuts and bolts of this bad boy.
Thank you, Caleb.
welcome.
So appreciate you. I'm still waiting for the day to have hair and makeup when we get to come
You know,
visit with
we're
you,
working
so.
on it. We're going. We're going. You keep coming in. We'll get
I
there.
will. So Highway 7 Trade Days was started in 2017. It was a means for local vendors, businesses to have a place to sell their goods to the community here in Victoria. And we started it in the front little grass parking lot at Sun Valley Ranch. The vendor booth fees go to rent Sun Valley Ranch. And so we're supporting local organizations here in town. And then, of course, Harvey hit in 17, so it shut us down. And then we're back at it full time right after that in November. 2018, 2019, then 2020 comes around. Had a few months off, which really affected a lot of our vendors, because for some of these folks that they may set up at Goliad Market or Coro Farmers Market or any of the other markets that we have, some of them go statewide. It's really hurt them, especially for those that this might be their monetary income.
Yeah.
And so so being shut down because of COVID, it's really hurt a lot of people. So we're back up. I called the health department and said, hey, what are the guidelines? How can we do this safely? And we have hand sanitizing stations and wear masks, and we ask for people to social distance, and you can't always do that, but therefore that's why we have masks on. And
A little bit of common sense. People are grown ups. They know the risk they take when they go outside.
That's the whole thing. It is your choice to come out to market and support these local people. And so we still hold market on the third Saturday of every month out at Sun Valley Ranch. We have live music and throughout the day, and we have food truck out there that has delicious food.
Yeah.
And every month is something different with the food truck, so you never know what's going to be for lunch. And then and we have inside Legacy Hall, we have outside Legacy Hall, we have vendors. A lot of us are like, we've been doing this together since we started. And so in my mind now, I go down a map and I'm like, okay, wait, who are all of our vendors? Because in my mind, I know who here.
It's John, it's Sally, and it's not the business names, it's your friends' names.
And what's so fun is that customers that come every month, they're like, oh, Andrea's right here when we come in the door, and Van and Jean are right here, and Heather and Pam are right here, and if I want Cincy, I'm going to go over here. If I want paparazzi, I'm going to go over here. If I want and I got to go see Linda because I bring my bottle and go get oils from her.
Right.
When
So
I'm
stuff
out.
there for everybody. Dad can find something. Mom can find something. You can find something for the kids
yes,
there. Food to feed them. Music to listen
There's
to.
everything. The playground and the putt-putt area are open for kids to come. So if you bring your family, you can go have fun out and outdoors and play around a putt-putt and see who wins and go on the playground. And so we've got the kids covered, inside. There's a little photo booth area inside Sun Valley Ranch, inside Legacy Hall. And every month we kind of try to switch it up to the season. Take a photo with your family,
Right.
Sit down, enjoy some live music. And we have not only vendors, Van and Jean, Van's Wood Turn Pens, and Linda's been there with her crosses and oils, and our paparazzi and Cincy, and we've got Pampered Chef, and our home cottage people also. Andy's place. Andy comes with us, and he's been bringing his home cottage foods, and of course we have others, but we also have businesses, and we have nonprofits with Girl Scouts. We have the.
So all I need is some more Girl Scout cookies. I can barely get this belt done anyway.
And nonprofit organizations such as like the Victoria African Violet Society will be with us this weekend, Saturday. We're Saturday only. Victoria African Violet Society.
Okay.
And part of might even have some master gardeners out there. And so we have. And even local businesses, Blue Bonnet Chiropractic might be there, and to tell you, all about getting your spine in line. And I'm telling you, I need to do more of that.
And this is me too. This is one of the best things that community can do to support community as well,
Yes,
because the
absolutely.
vendors need us out there. And then oftentimes this is a way for us to support those vendors back and through the, not having to go to these big, huge, Walmart, all this kind of stuff. And you can support the moms and pops that need it the most, and this is their livelihood.
And
a lot of times it took a huge hit, a lot of them during COVID and stuff.
And we're not talking about just those that do direct sales, whether they're with another company, but those that are handcrafts, wood crafts, metal artwork. They put their time and their own money into
their
produce
passions.
and their passions to produce something for you to put on your wall that you can't get that heart and soul from something that you buy in a big box store.
Right.
And so you get these folks that might do vinyl crafts, or they might do metal artwork or home crafts or wood crafts, and that takes, I wish I had a little bit of it, that takes a lot of time and that takes talent, and they bring their crafts to you, they bring their artwork to you, and you know what, it'll look good in the kitchen, look good, or you know what, right now for this one, post-Valentine's, how the weather is going to be, so if you got, it's post-Valentine's, and it's weather's kind of bad.
Yeah, and it's cold.
So
it's cold.
You don't want to get out. Don't buy from the box, or don't buy online. Come on out to Highway 7 Trade Days.
Yes,
Saturday,
ma'am.
February 20th. We're there from 9 to 3.
Okay.
We're inside Legacy Hall. We're outside Legacy Hall.
Yeah, Sun Valley Ranch.
Yes.
Friday, February 20th.
And for those that don't know where Sun Valley Ranch is,
Talk to me.
8793
8793
U.S. Highway
U.S. Highway
87 North.
87 North.
So, 87.
That almost sounded like that
it's-
5, 6 hours. I almost started singing that song.
And it's just down from Victoria West High School. I have people that on Google Maps, it takes them out Port Lavaca. And I'm like, no, other way.
Other way.
I don't know why, but Bloomington area. So yes, we're just down from Victoria West High School, about a mile on the left-hand side. And we'll have, like I said, we might be a small market, but we're a family, and we love doing what we do. We love bringing the products that we bring to people, and we hope that Victoria will continue to support local business and small business and entrepreneurs, and come out and get a belated Valentine's gift or something that's coming up. Your spring break is coming up. Maybe you're going to see the grandkids. Get something for them. But we're on every month. So the third Saturday, whatever that date falls on, because don't ask me what they are right now.
I would not do such
Don't
a
ask
thing.
me. But we're at Sun Valley Ranch, inside Legacy Hall, outside Legacy Hall area, from 9 to 3. And we enjoy the day. It's kind of a fellowship for us with the live music and food and just walking around. And especially if those people want to come out and see what's been happening inside the ranch and see things that have changed and
what all Glenn's done out there.
all the memories and stuff. You can walk out there and go, oh wow, I was over there for that concert, and I was over here for this wrestling match, and and everything that went on back there in the days. And plus you can, if you have kids, bring them out, because you can play on the playground and putt-putt and just have a fun family day.
That's awesome.
That's what we like about our market, is just getting people out. And y'all gotta excuse me for my cough, because Caleb kind of rolled me right in from outdoors. He's like, hey.
I did. I may have messed up the time a little bit, but I appreciate you rolling with the punches. And
we're good.
Yeah, and guys, make sure you get out there, support them. February 20th, 9 a.m., Sun Valley Ranch, Highway to 87 Trade Days. Thanks so much for tuning in. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment down below. That helps. Share.
Oh, hey, and so just in fact, if you're on Facebook, it's just go to HWY 87 Trade Days, and you'll find our Facebook page. We have a everything. If you want to be a vendor, everything you need to know is on our website. We don't keep anything. It's just go to our website, HWY87tradedays.com. Call me, 361-894-4087.
Perfect. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to our guests. Thanks for rolling with the punches.
Thank you for
and thank you to our sponsors. We appreciate you, and we will see you next week on Victoria Events with Caleb Shaw.